1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So I am back, guys. It is 9 a.m. Pacific time, Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. Live in the fourth hour of Jesse Lee Peterson's video streams. Thank you, guys. Shout out to YouTube, Facebook, not Facebook, Periscope, dlive.tv/Jesse Lee Peterson, and mixer.com/JLP Talk. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. And thank you to Jesse Lee Peterson for guest hosting my show yesterday. I may have him do it again this week. He did okay. We'll see. The far left is no longer considered that liberal. It's now considered center. You notice that? I was listening to Jesse Lee hosting my show yesterday, and he was talking, I believe it was on my show, he was talking with a Hispanic guy. Maybe it was during during his show, I'm not sure. But you guys can call in too. Appreciate you guys calling in already, actually. 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. Men's forum is tomorrow. And I was kind of laughing when I said, good morning, guys, because it was like disgusted. I looked up and saw what Joel was showing in the in the opening credits of my show. And I had forgotten that I'd given him those pictures, Facebook pictures of a gay conversion therapy guy who went full-on homosexual. And you can just tell it's gross to look at. Yeah. There he is in 2015 or so? 2018. This is before he came out full-on. That was 2015. You can tell, I mean, he said that he never called himself straight. There's a lot of stories of these guys, males, who run these organizations or are part of these organizations that do... See, it looks like a bunch of gays. Some of them. But that's the one that I was kind of laughing at. But terrible. This is his Facebook profile. He has a rainbow circling over his face. Anyways... there's a lot of these guys who work in this so-called gay conversion therapy, and they call it widely discredited, right? The liberal media calls it widely discredited practice of trying to convert homosexuals into not being homosexual, into being normal. And I say that it doesn't usually work because nothing usually works for anybody, because people aren't really committed to doing what's right. They say that narrow is the path and few are those that find it, right? So even the people that want to change from whatever issue they got, most of them are not going to change. And then on top of it, most of Christianity, not Christianity, but most of the people who call themselves Christians today, churches and everybody, you hear it on the show all the time, from the Bible thumpers to the liberal Christians to the conservatives to the alt-right to everybody. A bunch of fake Christians across the board, across the scale. And even though that the conservatives are more correct, or even the alt-right are more correct than the liberals, they still don't really live it and have it. So that's why these conversion therapy things fail. And there's a whole lot of imposters too. People are generally fake and evil. That's why I call people snakes. It's not saying that, nothing personal, it's just facts. It's the truth. People are snakes, and they're not real. There was one church service from 2008, 2012 maybe, back when Jesse Lee Peterson had these Sunday services with the flowers and stuff. Well, I remember one of the questions was, who is the who are the wolves in sheep's clothing? Who is the wolf in sheep's clothing? And I think I remember the answer was, you are, I am, whatever. Anybody who isn't real. Wolves in sheep's clothing. Because sooner or later, the evil is going to come out. And that evil came out of that guy. Terrible. He went from being a fake Christian to a full-out fake homosexual. Anyways, the far left is no longer considered that liberal, because I was listening to that guy on Jesse's show, and he was denying being an anchor baby. I don't think he knows what an anchor baby is, because an anchor baby... Oh, did I? I don't think I gave Joel the definition, but I looked it up. It's on Wikipedia. Basically, anybody who's been born to immigrant parents, non-citizen parents, don't have to be illegal alien parents, don't even have to have gotten pregnant overseas or across the border and then come and drop the baby. Just be non-citizens and here. So that's an anchor baby. And so that boy who called, I call him boy, young man who called Jesse Lee Peterson's show, Hispanic guy, not white, and his parents were immigrants. They did become citizens like last year, he said. That means he was an anchor baby. So, but he was a liberal. He said, I lean to the left, a little bit more to the left, but I'm not that liberal, because he's not for the transgenders, right? But that doesn't mean that he's not far left, because he is for single payer health, so-called health care. Single payer means socialist health care. That means the government runs it. Or, one company runs it, meaning the government. And he wants us to be as miserable as Canada is and Europe is. All those countries are losing it bad. They have an immigration problem, both Canada and Europe and America, and a welfare problem. And we're not doing well as countries, all of us, because we have a whole lot of spoiling going on. And people up and down the scale, left and right, are becoming more and more spoiled. And yet the lefties claim that we've moved right as a country. That is such a lie. Think about what the country has accepted over just the past, my lifetime. Accepted socialist healthcare, which was never even close to being accepted. We have Obamacare, that's socialist healthcare. And then we have illegal aliens coming in decades running now. When I was a kid, I was born 6 months after Reagan came into office, right? He came into office in 1981, January, I think. I was born in July, and I know, because I've heard about it, that he gave an amnesty for the illegals in exchange for so-called border security and no more. Yeah, right. That didn't happen. We've only accepted more and more and more coming in, flooding in. And the ACLU is fighting to keep them in, keep them coming. So we haven't shifted to the right. We've shifted to the left, because all these these immigrants are voting socialist. And we have people trying to take down General Lee and George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. That just means we've gone left. We've gone anti-American. The centrist should mean centered on the Constitution. That's basically what centrist means. And then and then right should go from there. And then these people that are called far right, they're not very far right, to be honest. They're pretty liberal. Yeah, some of them are strongly anti-gay. They agree with that one beta male pastor, Steven Anderson. He believes in this state executing homosexuals. This is ridiculous. But because they hate Jews so bad, they want to join with the Muslims in killing gays and stuff. Crazy. So we've gone left, not right. We've gone evil, not good. Right, it tends to be for what's right. Left tends to be for what's evil. And yeah, it's not left versus right. It's good versus evil. And most people are evil. There's a Bible verse where Jesus talks about evil, right? He talks about you people being evil know how to give good gifts to your children. He said, who would give his son a snake if he asked for a stone? or something like that. Or if he asked for blah, 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 he would give him something terrible. No, you wouldn't. You know how to give good gifts to your kids, even though you're evil. He called the people who were listening to him evil. And that's what they are. So, anyways, let me get to some calls. You guys have been on hold for a while. And then I'll get to this, a little bit more about this conversion imposter staying homosexual. And I'll talk about that killer. We finally have a mugshot of the not El Paso, the West Texas murderer. White man, is that my imagination, or does he have two teardrops next to his eye? Tattoo. They look like tattoos, right? Yeah. 36-year-old white man. Another one down the tubes. He got killed after he killed a bunch of people. Idiot. I'll talk about him a little bit more. And idiotic Walmart. All right. Samuel out of Sweden. Thanks for holding, man. How are you?
Hi.
Hey.
Well, I'm doing fine, actually.
Good?
But, yeah, I these questions, I just want to ask someone that I think is pretty wise. If I come home from work so late, I never managed to call Jesse. But, you have to be wise now and give me some good advice, Hake.
All right, I'll do my best. Go for it.
Yeah, well, I got some love problems, if you could call it that. And I have some questions about it. First of all, should you date as a man, should you date a woman who is living at home with her mother?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Because back in the olden days, that's how they did it. They stayed at home with their mother. But nowadays, I don't know. Not sure. That's a question for Jesse, to be honest. Or maybe it's a question for Joel. But I don't know. I don't think he has any input about that one either. Any other questions?
Yes.
All right.
Should you date a woman who hates her father?
No. Heck no. I know that one's an obvious no. Huh? She can't change. You sound just like her.
Change,
Yeah. You sound just like her. He can change.
Yeah, I know, but I'm the man. I can make her change. Well, anyway, my first question is, I had dated this woman, a couple of times, and, I would like to call her my girlfriend, but she doesn't want to call me her boyfriend. So is that a problem?
You call her your girlfriend, but she doesn't want to call you her boyfriend?
Yeah,
No, that's not a problem. That's a good thing. Then you know where you stand with her. That's fine.
Yeah, because
you shouldn't.
She doesn't want to.
Yeah, if she's not in a hurry, then why should you be?
Okay.
Right?
Well.
You just got your hopes up too high. It sounds like.
Because if I don't know, I want to know that I'm going to continue, to get to know her. But if I don't know that, I have to be open to other women, there's not one woman in the world. So that's why I want to know from her that she, not going to
run off.
We're going to continue to meet, and you can.
Does she hate her dad?
On each other.
You know for a fact that she hates her dad.
Well, I asked her. So I said, "Do you love your father?"
Uh-huh.
And she gave me that answer that Jesse always gets when he asks people things that they, don't really want to.
Hey man,
kind of thing.
So I'll tell you one thing, Samuel, and then this is all I have for you because I'm not that wise, but I'll say that you're not going to find out by her giving you the right answers or the wrong answers because, yeah, you can ask those questions, but you're just going to have to observe her without, you'll just have to observe how she acts. That's what's going to tell you more. You know that.
Okay.
Right? And, yeah, don't...
that's a good advice.
Yeah. Get counseling with Jesse. I recommend it. And then, I don't know if you're doing the silent prayer, but... You got to stay as clear-minded as you can.
I wanted to add something to the homosexual thing you talked about.
Okay, go for it. Yeah.
Here in Sweden, some psychiatrists have created an audio file that you can listen to on the internet that helps, is a kind of cognitive behavioral therapy audio that will help people to start to like homosexuality. It's like brainwashed to start liking homosexuality. And
Whoa.
they have had news about it. And it's really extreme here in Sweden.
So there's a brainwashing thing to brainwash people to be okay with the homosexuals, or to begin to become more homosexual.
Yes, they have created a cognitive behavior therapy audio file. I think they have it on Spotify and in Swedish, and people can listen to it to start to like homosexuals if they have problems disliking homosexuality.
Oh, crazy! So it's basically re-education. It's re-education for the people who have a little bit of common sense still.
Yes.
That's terrible.
Yes.
Wow.
This is in Sweden.
That's pure evil. Thank you for the input, man.
Well, yeah. Well, have a great day here.
You too, man. Nice to hear from you. Definitely call the bond office. The bond office lines are open now, and request that counseling, man.
You know, I will do it. I will do one time. I don't know exactly when. But
all right. Yeah, no pressure. I'm just recommending it. Cool, Samuel.
Yeah, I like it. You know, great advice. Bye.
All right, take care. Appreciate it. Somebody said something. You guys are funny anyways. Kevin out of Connecticut. Kevin, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, man?
Doing fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, well, good to hear from you. Yeah, it seems like the people that called the Jesse Lee Peterson show in your show, the number one thing.
Hold on for me, Kevin. Hold on for me, Kevin. You got a way too much background noise. It's kind of fun to hear it, but it's like music. But I can't handle that right now. Carl out of Chicago, Illinois. Carl, how are you?
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. All is well.
Nice.
How about you?
Fine, thank you. Nice to hear from you. Appreciate the song.
You got it. Congrats on doing your show 6 days a week.
Thank you, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I bet. James, I'm calling today to, I've called once before, and I kind of asked you to tell your story. So today I'm calling to actually ask you about it. I forgave my mother, and I'm no longer scared of her. I tell her how it is.
Yeah.
But every time, I think about calling my father, I just don't know what I would say. So I would ask you, how did you deal with your parents when you went to them and you forgave them? What did you say, and how did that work out?
Okay, so I did it twice because I didn't do it right the first time. The first time I went to them and told them I hated them and why, but I didn't say sorry for hating them. And then more recently, I told them, I'm wrong to hate them. I'm no better. But what I told my dad, I had remembered stuff that were particularly obnoxious to me, that bugged me about what he did when I was, a teenager and stuff that I did not like. And there may have even been some stuff that was ongoing. And so I told him about those things. He often didn't really get it. He tried to argue with me about God being angry, kind of justifying the anger, right? But that was how I explained about what was wrong, and then later I came back and said, I'm no better. I figured out that I'm out of control myself, so I can't really hold it against you guys either. Does that make sense?
I see.
But I definitely, I told him I was pretty explicit with the stories. You know, I was quite specific with what incidents I didn't like that had stayed with me, eaten at me. And so, yeah.
All right. So, I mean, I was raised by my mother and grandmother, so I'm a hell spawn, but not anymore. But, you know, I was thinking of calling my father, and, you know, I guess I was never, I don't know, really angry at him, but that's what I would say. I would say, you know, sorry for being angry at you.
But no,
And
you wouldn't. If you were never really angry at him, why would you say that?
Well, you know, that's a good point. That's why
Yeah,
I'm just trying.
Hey, talk to Jesse about this, man. He's better with this stuff.
I try. Yeah. I try.
You try
but,
what?
You know, the lines are always.
Call for counseling, man. You can schedule. There's no waiting.
Thinking about it.
Then it's scheduled, and you don't have to call and wait on hold. Although if you do go on air, it's helpful to other people who listen. But the private counseling is definitely recommended, and it you can do it either for a half hour or a full hour. It's recommended. It's nice, and you do it over the phone. Doesn't have to be in person.
I'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely do it. And the other thing I want to say, I wanted to forget something that I am, you know, quite certain of that I want to say to him is I forgive him for not being there to protect me from my mother. I think that's like the most earnest thing I could say to him.
Yeah, that sounds like other people that have run into that. They were most disappointed in not having him around. That was what bothered them.
And it's a vicious cycle with him because he has 3 brothers, and his father left him for another woman. He left the family for another woman, like overseas. So, you know, I I can't really blame him because he's just doing, you know, what he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think, you know, that's it.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking my call, and I'll schedule a counseling session.
Right on.
Well, you know, if you want to keep me online, I have something to say about homosexuality.
All right. Go for it.
Since freshman in high school, which is since like I guess 2009. I'm 25. My best friend has been a homosexual. You know, he's a gay guy, and he is my best friend. You know, he's like, you know, I don't really care about his homosexuality. It's what he does.
Was he gay before he was friends with you? I mean, where was he? Did you know him before he had turned gay, quote unquote?
I guess so. He did come out as gay while we were in high school. So within those 4 years,
yeah, okay. I was just curious.
Or year.
And what is your point about that?
Well, it's just that I understand, you know, homosexuality is wrong. It's not the right way to be, but my best friend is a homosexual, and it just like, it doesn't bother me. So I guess you can see it as being wrong, but I'm around pointing it out to him like that, you know, we're just best friends. So I think maybe some people out there are like, you know, weird about homosexuals, but they're just like people, you know, they're just gay.
All right.
I guess that's my point.
Yeah. But interesting, man. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, thanks for taking my call, Hake. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Good job on everything. Say hi to Jesse for me. Joel is the man. You know, every time I hear that song at the end of Jesse's show, I can't help but to, like, I don't know, tear up a little bit because you guys, you know, are doing good work, and you know, your new producer for the show is great too. He seems like a pretty fun guy, and the 4 of you make a great team. Thanks for taking my call. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
All right, take care, Carl. I was on the line with Kevin, who had a rough connection. Kevin, your sound did better, I think, out of Connecticut.
Yeah, I was just on the street walking, enjoying the day.
Okay, sounds a lot better. Thanks, man.
Yeah, the thing is like I was telling your helper over there. The thing is I've been listening to your show and Jesse's show for a while. It seems like the people that call the show lack one common denominator, and that's common sense.
Okay, yeah, interesting. A lot of times that's true.
Yeah, and the thing about like he was saying this morning about how the women in the church are like angry and mad, and the men are being run by women and all that. The thing is that if they actually truly read their Bible and actually studied their Bible and actually lived it, then they would have no problem submitting to the man.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
You know, and the thing about this gun control thing, this gun rules and all that, is that only 7, and they did a statistic, people in jail that were arrested, that were in jail, they said that only 7% of the inmates said that they got their guns legally. About half of them said that they got it illegally. So my question is, this guy didn't pass the background check, and Walmart stopped selling these assault rifles, like they say, in the beginning of 2015.
Yep.
All right, and then they have an age gap where from 18 to 21, you have to be 21 over to purchase it. He didn't pass he didn't pass the background check, and he had a history of mental illness, and he actually called the police before he done the crime.
And the FBI, yeah, he called 911 and the FBI. It's crazy.
Yeah, and my question is, he didn't get the gun legally, so where did he get the gun, and who gave it to him? You
know, it's even beyond that, to be honest. It's deeper than that, because the issue is the people. Why are people becoming so degraded that they're willing to do stuff like this?
Well, I can tell you right now, it goes all the, because my mom tells me this, like when she was growing up, right, she basically was in school, like in the beginning of the day, they said the Pledge of Allegiance after they prayed, and then they went about their day. But then they started taking they started taking God out of schools, they started taking God out of the government, they started taking God out of the home, they started taking God out of society. Now we're paying for it. There's really no stoppage to this. People say that they're going to be a stoppage if men just come back to being man.
No, that's true though.
We're actually far beyond that.
I don't know how you can know that though, Kevin, because people are changing and waking up. So
they're waking up. They're waking up
and they're changing.
Gradually waking up.
Not gradually, man. It's not gradual.
All right, where's the specifics on this?
The specifics, Ryan, who called the show just last hour, maybe 2 hours ago, he changed. Jesse changed real fast. It wasn't gradual, so it's not. People aren't gradually waking up.
Oh, so what you're saying is they're not waking. All right.
Yeah. So don't be speaking doubt into our lives, Kevin.
No, I'm not speaking doubt.
You are. Yeah, you said men aren't. It's too late for men to wake up and change. That's not true.
Well, all right.
You're speaking doubt, man.
I digress.
All right.
I digress. Now.
No, it wasn't a digression. You were speaking doubt.
All right. Okay, I'll eliminate the doubt. All right. They're waking up.
Yeah.
All right. But the thing is that not enough of them?
Oh, don't worry about that. It only takes. Look at how influential Trump has been. He's been one man. He's been one man doing. Hold on. He's been one man doing what's right in a big way. And it's helped to wake a lot of people up. So it is changing.
The thing with the Democrats is that they cry racist, but their whole party is built on racist.
Yep. I appreciate it, Kevin. Very good points, though, man.
I'm sorry if I offend you in any way.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to correct the record that it's not hopeless.
A true man can know his mistakes and be corrected.
Yeah, you're right about the issues, but you're just wrong about saying that it's too late. Because we don't know that.
I don't think it's too late. It's not too late. It's just that it just needs to be a revival.
It's a huge problem, definitely. I appreciate it, Kevin. Revival. Nice to hear from you, man.
No problem, boss. Thanks for the correction.
All right. Call again. Let's see. Mike out of San Antonio. How are you, Mike?
I'm good. How you doing, James?
Doing fine. Thank you.
I think I figured out the riddle of your callers.
Okay, go for it.
Maeve and all of them. What they trying to do, and I think Maeve in particular, and I'm not just speaking on her, but
Yeah.
she's asking you questions like, name some things y'all done right, and name this and name that. He's always on the offensive. What they're trying to do, they're trying to get absolution from you for their sin. They can say if you done something wrong,
Right.
they kind of they're making y'all, Bond and Jesse and you and everybody, they're God. Because if y'all done something wrong, then it's okay what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
That's really what they're doing. They need to quit trying to make y'all their gods. My kids, I've told them this. Okay, give it to me. I mess y'all up, okay?
Right.
True. I'm okay with that. I mess you up. That's all I knew what to do. Don't use my mistakes to live a mistake. Because you're going to have to face God one-on-one. Everybody is. And he doesn't care what happened to you. You got to face him. I got to face him. Everyone has to face him one-on-one. And going back and trying to find what Christians or people who call themselves Christians or whatever done wrong, it's not going to cut it with him.
Yeah.
So my advice to them, they don't have to take it with, quit trying to make Bond and you and the Reverend their gods, because regardless of what they did, you're going to have to face God one-on-one.
Yeah, that's
One-on-one.
true.
It ain't no team game.
This is what you'll see like all the time with pretty much everybody, but you'll see it with blacks. They'll say, "Oh, look at whites doing it too," and
Right.
as though that makes it right. The standard shouldn't be what whites are doing or what, compared to the rest of the world, everybody else is doing it. Each person individually is going to suffer hell or is suffering hell for the way they're living, and the standard should be what's right, and people don't get it.
Exactly. And the bitterness I see in them, God, I hate to keep mentioning her, Maeve.
Right.
She's in the blackest city in Ohio. I'm
Dayton.
from that city. I think you know that, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's even blacker than Cleveland. She's in the whitest, more conservative neighborhood
Wow.
outside of Dayton.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, Fairborn. I lived there one time. So, these people who keep harping on how white people becoming a minority, white people, and kind of gleeful, if you're that happy about that,
Yeah.
and you're that content about that, you can go live in Dayton.
That's a good point, man.
You can go live in, and you had that guy on, I don't know if you heard him, the referee from Dayton. I know exactly what he's talking about, because in the 70s, we were scared to play those black high schools.
Yeah.
Okay, and my wife went to Dunbar, where he was talking about, and the house I was letting Maeve live in for free that she refused to is walking distance within Dunbar. So you keep wishing for this white minority, but you have it already in Dayton, but you won't take advantage of it because you know the truth.
Yeah, these people that are celebrating and trying to claim that whites are their chickens are coming home to roost, or what goes around comes around, or the prophecies of God are being fulfilled, they're the ones going to suffer every bit as much as the whites are suffering for their own decline. And so they should not be celebrating whites' decline, just as whites should not have sat by and allowed blacks to decline to the point that they have. But whites were too cowardly, and now blacks are celebrating whites' downfall too.
Yeah, but the thing is about it, though, James, they saying this, but they know the truth, because everybody saying that is living in a white neighborhood.
Yeah.
And everybody saying that has the opportunity to go to the hood, buy a house for little or nothing, and live their life out with black folks.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do it. I've got relatives that talk about that. I'm like, well, why don't you go live in that house that we won't rent out? They wouldn't live in that thing for 5 minutes.
I know.
So
They're moving to Calabasas.
What's that?
I said they're moving to Calabasas. I'm talking about where I think Kanye lives there. A bunch of those guys live in Calabasas out here by Malibu and all that.
Well, they living in Fairborn and Dayton, where Maeve lives.
Right.
So and it's only about a less than a 45-minute drive. They could be right there, flat in the hood.
Yeah.
Flat in the hood. So you don't even have to wait on this white minority. It's already happened in certain cities. Just go there and be with your folks.
That's why it's told in the Bible to be blameless. That way, as much as because they try to evil people will try to focus on the person who's criticizing them to find fault with them. But if you're perfect, then they have nothing to hold on to judge you with, and then it eventually falls back on them, and then hopefully they're more likely to wake up.
Yeah, it's just kind of like in a cosmic world,
Yeah,
different cosmic world, because they know the truth. I mean, I lived that city. I played ball in that city. Everything that referee was saying was true. Those mothers come to those games, they act like idiots. This is in the 70s.
yeah. What a mess.
You hoped and prayed you played at the University of Dayton Arena so you wouldn't have to go to where they were. I mean, they show up for that, but they wouldn't show up for, like, after-school tutoring. But they're going to be at those games acting a fool, throwing milkshakes in the referee's face. They did that. That's what they do.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know why they're trying to pretend. It's like, really?
I appreciate it, Mike. Very good points, man.
Let me call you.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Before I get to the rest of the calls, I want to point out some facts about what this guy is saying, this homosexual guy, and then I'll try to get to the Walmart and then the thing and then get back to the calls. So this conversion imposter stays homosexual. His name is, you can show pictures of him, Game, Game, and it's McCrae Game. And so he says, he's admitting now that he was a religious zealot. I was a religious zealot that hurt people. People said that they attempted suicide over me and the things I said to them. People I know are in therapy because of me. Why would I want that to continue? So now he's trying to take down what he used to work for. And he went from being a religious zealot to a radical homosexual zealot. He wants to ban what he used to be part of, since he got fired from it. And let's see what else. These people, many of them in the conversion therapy thing, they're doing it wrong. But then the liberal media, you'll notice, they point out what the conversion therapy do wrong, but all of the liberals do it wrong by accepting the evil. But they don't point out that part. Homosexuality is widely discredited itself as being a bad for you lifestyle. And this suicide stuff that's happening is not just because of fake Christians. Yes, it's partly because of that, the parents failed the kids, but it's happening because these people are miserable people. They're never happy. And suicide doesn't, I've heard the lie repeated that suicide declines once they accept it. I don't think that that's the case. And even if it were, you're trading one evil for another because you're only delaying your demise. It's not living a good life. And you're not doing anybody else any good. You're spreading evil. And so Walmart too has had a long decline. They're pushing, all these corporations are very corrupt now. They don't stand for what's right. So this Walmart, the only place they used to sell handguns anymore, or did sell handguns anymore, was Alaska. Now they don't even do that. And so they're still selling rifles, I guess, but they're not selling .223 or .556 ammo, which is the AR-15 ammo, right? I think. Yeah, those two are the calibers for the AR-15s. So they're not selling that ammo or handgun ammo. And they're acting like they're part of the solution now and calling on the government to act. Act is a liberal word. That means kill the Second Amendment and the people. So, and Kroger is part of the problem too. They're banning open carry in their stores, following the lead of Walmart. Kroger being Food for Less, Fred Meyer, Fry's, QFC. Fry's is like that computer type store. QFC, Payless Supermarket, and Ralph's. Dang. And so last month, Walmart, here's more ridiculousness, said it was pulling violent video game displays out of stores following the shootings. And like one of the previous callers said, 2015, they stopped selling semi-automatic weapons such as AR-15s. And they stopped selling firearms ammunition to people under the age of 21. So they're violating the rights of infringing on the rights of the 18-year-olds, adults. And that was after the Parkland, Florida shooting with the March Against Our Lives kids. In the 90s, they stopped selling handguns in the United States, except for Alaska. Now no longer Alaska. And the liberals are applauding Beto O'Rourke, making a big scene, basically showing off the F word. What an idiot. He's all, we can all agree that this is F blanked up. Wow. What a dummy. Making a fool of himself. Totally not fooling anybody, I don't think. If you're being fooled by Beto, then you're really far gone. Elizabeth Warren, good start, but it's not enough. Bernie Sanders. I know some of you guys like Bernie Sanders. Well, a couple of you guys. And you like this show? Well, Bernie Sanders applauds Walmart doing this. Call on the company to stop selling guns. This is a good step, but we still have a gun violence crisis. Gun violence crisis. But we don't have the gun violence crisis. These people are saying and doing nothing to make the people more moral again. They're not. Anyways, let's just show one picture real fast of that Texas killer again with the 2 eye drops. Mega Mortis on YouTube asked, so he killed 2 people already? Because doesn't that, when you have teardrop tattoos, that usually means that you've killed somebody. Joel is awake, by the way. So anyways, this is an evil guy. And he was a miserable person. The FBI agent who's looked into his life, Christopher Combs, said that he was on a long spiral down. His neighbor, Rocio Gutierrez, and her family, I don't know why we didn't hear from the man. Maybe there was no man. Was afraid of him. He would go out and shoot animals, mostly rabbits. But he was a mess. And how come we don't clean up the messes? Or address that? He was fired from his job and flipped out. And he hijacked a postal service mail truck and killed the woman who was working that mail truck. And Greg Abbott tweeted, the Republican governor from Texas, not only did the Odessa gunman have a criminal history, he also previously failed a gun purchase background check in Texas, and he didn't go through a background check for the gun he used in Odessa. And he says, we must keep the guns out of criminals' hands. But that's only addressing the symptom. You have to address the issue. The issue is the people. But they don't want to act, they act like you can't address the issue. Oh, we just can't fix it. They're fake. Anyways, Ryan out of Concord, California. Ryan, how are you?
All is well, James. How you doing?
Doing fine. Nice to hear from you.
Yeah, awesome. I'm assuming you heard my phone call with Jesse this morning?
Yeah, I was in and out, but I heard you talking about how basically you said that the spirit of your mother left you and you didn't have the desire for all those vices anymore.
Right. Well, it was, I'm trying to make sense of all this, first time listening to Jesse here. I listened to him last year, but it was more for like comedy.
Right.
But this year I started taking him serious. So I try to apply some of the things he said, like forgiving your parents, which I did. And then I went to the men's conference, which I thought would help me. And then about a month ago, I started doing the silent prayer day and night.
Yeah.
And I saw some changes here and there with forgiving my parents in the silent prayer. But I called Jesse to tell him that one of my ex-girlfriends and I, after we had broken up, right before I went to the men's conference is when we broke up. About 10 days ago, we just stopped talking. We stopped being friends because after we broke up, we decided that we were going to so-called stay friends, which never really works.
Yeah.
But when I stopped talking to her 10 days ago, I felt like something left me, like a spirit left me.
Nice.
And I was asking Jesse about that, and he agrees that, when a woman's in your life so much, she's your God, and you make her too important, and that's why you suffer. So I know the silent prayer did help, and I know that forgiving my parents, of course, helped because that's the first step.
Yeah.
But what I would see as the main step is like returning to manhood for me would be not acting like a woman or being controlled by a woman, because even after we had broken up, she had still offered me sex, and she was controlling me in ways that I now see that I didn't see before after I had broken up with her. So I was just wondering what your thoughts and opinions are about, like, you know, when I stopped talking to her and her spirit left me. Like, do you see this often with other people when they break up with their girlfriends? Like, do they start returning back to, you know, being a man and whatnot?
Not necessarily. Sometimes they flip out and go nuts. But or they'll get in really good shape, but their lives are not, their mind is still not right. They find something to do or to pour themselves into. They'll get really into reading and freak out. But yes, it is good. I don't like this trend of this fake niceness, this fake, oh, we can still stay friends. That's like a soft breakup. That's weak. And so you did the right thing, I think, in my opinion, without even knowing the situation, of just breaking it off completely with her. That's so smart, because that's so beta and pathetic to see guys and gals still like stringing each other along like that. It's disgusting. It's wrong. It's a waste of time, and it's evil, because like you think, you're like a baby Christian, let's call it, and then you're with a evil mama, basically. And that evil mama is going to have a big influence on you as a baby Christian. And you don't need to be around that. Why? Right? Why do you need to be around that? You don't. So that is, I think that you're right, that it is an important step to get away from evil people, especially somebody who had that much control over you in the past. You surrendered to her. You were a beta with her. You had sex outside of marriage.
After we'd broken up, I'd still be like, hey, do you want to hang out? She would ask me to hang out.
Yeah.
So it's like we just dropped the so-called title, but we were doing the same things.
Right.
And to go back to your point about, not wanting to do any of my addictions or whatever anymore, dude, it's so crazy, because Jesse said it perfectly. Jesse said, you lose your appetite for those things.
Yeah.
And that perfectly describes how I feel about watching stuff online, because I literally, not only have I not even had an urge, I haven't even had a thought to do it since the day I stopped talking to her. It was literally like the snap of a finger, because I was, struggling with it, trying to do the silent prayer, trying to do what Jesse says, and watch yourself but don't judge yourself. And
right.
I'm not going to say it worked or didn't work, what Jesse said, but what it worked for sure was when I stopped talking to her. It's been about 11 days now. I had no appetite. And this is actually like the longest I've gone in a while. Usually I slip up like once a week or maybe twice a week, but I haven't even had a thought or anything. It's just been so amazing being able to have no appetite for any of those desires.
Nice. Right on, man. Now you can make alpha babies.
Well, I got to get my alpha life together and get my savings together and pay off my debt, and then I'll go make alpha babies.
Yep. Cool, man. Appreciate that, Ryan. Good input. Yeah. Nice
well, I just
story.
wanted one last comment. You mentioned to that caller, I think he said something like, people don't instantly change, and you mentioned me and how
he called it they're gradually
like that.
Mm-hmm. He said they're gradually changing. I'm like, no, that's not how it is.
I feel like when I woke up is when I forgave my parents, and then it took me a while to see certain things because of my ego. I was first waking up, and so I was still trying to figure it all out, and it didn't really take long, to be honest. It's not gradual, but it did take a couple months for me to realize certain things like the silent prayer and having this ex-girlfriend in my life was bad for my spirit and stuff like that.
That's fine. That's like a growing process, but that's not gradual.
Right.
If you think about gradual means like years, decades, people making excuses for continuing to sin and it's a process. I don't believe that stuff, because they're making up something and usually they're the ones who claim to believe in the Bible. They call it a process. And yeah, you're being perfected, right? And you're perfect and you're being perfected, but it's not what they're calling it. They're making excuses for being evil and imperfect and not changing, continuing to be beta. So that's
right.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It also seems like the same people who are saying it's gradual, like, oh, it's a process. They're actually really not taking any steps themselves,
right.
to do anything. They're just talking about their problem.
Yeah. Totally, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan.
Well, good show, man. Yeah, it was good to see Jesse on your show yesterday. It was
nice,
little interesting, but it was fun.
Yep. All right, take care, Ryan.
Yep.
Rob out of Florida. Rob, thanks for holding, man.
Yeah, no problem.
First time caller.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, definitely. That's interesting because the previous caller had a lot of stuff to say that I've actually gone through too. I've been listening to Jesse for a while, and it just struck me at one point that you have to, when you're born again, just do what you have to not sin. Ask the Holy Spirit inside you, and just don't do the things that are against the Ten Commandments. And one of those things is fornicating, watching pornography, all those kind of things. And I mean, I had a whole lifetime since I was around 18, 17, became like sexually active. Before that, of course, found my dad's nasty magazines and stuff, and then went out and bought them myself when I was 18, and just had a whole life of, just like living as basically whoremongering is what they call it in the Bible. That's
right.
What I was doing. And it caused so many problems. I was in horrible marriages. I spent 25 years of my life in horrible marriages, made a lot of money because it kind of kept me at home. I wasn't going out partying like my friends.
Oh, yeah.
But I still wasn't doing the right things.
Yep.
And then when I got divorced, I really went off the hook. Got into cocaine for a while.
Dang.
Met girls that way, and then really got off the hook. And then finally, I kind of, I just started listening to what you were saying, what you and Jesse and all of you guys are doing, and it just made a lot of sense because I started going to church and stuff, but I really wasn't getting anywhere. Everybody's like, and if you talk to any of those people, they'll tell you, oh, you can't not sin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, then what is the point? Well, Jesus didn't die to give us a license to go out and sin.
Yeah, it's a cop-out. It's a lie.
Totally. And I just want to say the whole thing with the conversion thing. Now, sin is sin, and being a homosexual, that it's just as bad to be whoremongering.
Yeah.
That's bad too. So I mean, I can get over that.
The problem is that there is a lot of pride around being whoremongers too, but people are proud of being gay, and that's evil.
Yeah.
They're out in the open with it. The whoremongers, maybe some of them are prideful and arrogant and bragging about it, but some of them have a little bit of shame about it, and that can hopefully awaken them faster. I don't know. It's a mess.
Yep.
There's not a.
It is, and it seems like that's what they're trying to do. Is they're trying to make the whole homosexual thing. So it's getting to the point now where you can like just brag about it. It's almost like something to be proud of. Oh, my son's gay, or they're this or that. I mean, they're bringing drag queens into little kids' classrooms and having them dance for them.
Yeah.
They're putting books in My Two Mommies. I mean, they're just saying all this stuff is good. I mean, it's just like it's all been prophesized.
And then they pretend there's no homosexual agenda.
Right.
That's such a lie.
Insane.
Yep.
But
it's
I
pure
just want
evil.
to let people know you can get out of it, because I did.
Nice.
One day I just stopped doing it. I have slipped up once or twice, but I get, right back into it. I'm like, no, I can't allow Satan to grab me like that and become his child again. I'm not going to do it. It's living in hell when you do that. And then when you're not, you feel so good. So the longer, I've been months and months and months without, even having those thoughts. And it's just like it's not like a battle. It's just like I feel good now because I've decided to make that decision not to ruin my life in that way.
Cool, Rob. Appreciate that. Take care, man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you too, man. Love the show.
All right.
Bye.
Dan, first-time caller out of Phoenix, Arizona. Dan, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. You wanted to talk about Walmart.
Yes, I did. I did. It just strikes me that what they're doing there in Walmart by banning the sale of AR-15s.
Well, they've already. It was long ago that they banned the AR-15s. Now they're banning the ammo.
It's the ammo.
Yeah.
It's the ammo, isn't it now?
Right.
It's completely pointless because you can buy it everywhere else.
But you know, like a lot of people shopped at Walmart. When I used to go to the range, they would talk about getting this stuff at Walmart, or they would get it. They would get different ones. The 22, they would get the 226 or 223, 556. Then they would get the 9mm. They would get stuff in bulk from a Walmart. But yeah.
So my point really is I'm just saying it won't have any effects on any kind of mass shootings.
Yeah, that's true. It's
I'm critical. I'm very critical of the Waltons because they're trading in America.
They're what?
Which they're trading in America. They've got a business in America.
Yeah.
And they're making these sort of judgments.
Yep.
Which are sort of incorrect. But so there's that, and of course, what I'm talking about sounds maybe a bit stupid. But what I'd like to really say is, James, is I'm probably your most perfect listener.
Why do you say that?
When I first heard you, I thought, wow, he is that guy. I mean, I listened to Jesse Lee Peterson, and he's on the money. I thought, wow, that guy is right on the money with stuff. You're not frightened to say stuff. You say it confidently, and I agree with a lot of it. And the reason why I think I'm your perfect listener is because a lot of the things resonate with me. Like, I was born in Africa. I'm a legal immigrant.
Nice.
I was a heathen, and I converted to Christianity. I've been baptized. I've been reborn, I believe. I've done the thing of no sex before marriage. I came to America hating guns.
Wow.
But God gave me the thing of working with guns. And in fact, I became the man who invented the magnetic laser sight for handguns.
Nice.
Which has never been done before. So that's why. So everything you're talking about, I'm kind of like, this is just so perfect for me to be listening to. So, thank you for that.
Right on. Appreciate that, Dan.
So many people thank you, James.
Yeah. By the way, which country in Africa were you born in, out of curiosity?
South Africa. I was born in Johannesburg, and there's a lot of rioting going on there at the moment. Yep. In my province where I was born, and it's basically gangs roaming around, and they're looting, and, they're killing people, the businesses.
Yeah.
So it's like Bangladeshis, Indians. There's not many sort of white people left running those businesses.
Right.
Here's a bit of a weird thing for you, is that when I was born, and up until being quite young, I was my mother and father were working, and we had what's called maids. You get the picture.
Yep.
And I was tied onto their hips, with a big scarf.
Uh-huh.
So I thought my mother was black for the first 3 years.
Yeah.
So when I see a black face, I kind of feel happy.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unfortunately, when I got to America and I was laid over in Philadelphia and had to stay in a hotel, I was treated so terribly.
By the blacks there, huh?
Because I was white, and it's the first time I realized it.
That's a shame, man.
Terrible.
Man, Dan, what a story. I appreciate it. Nice to hear from you, man.
Yes, so can I be known as the perfect listener?
Yeah, I'll call you my perfect listener, Dan. Appreciate it. From Phoenix, Arizona. Take care, man.
You're doing a great job, James. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Take care. All right, guys. I'll see you tomorrow or tonight for the men's forum tonight. Don't forget. Oh, yeah, tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Men's forum tomorrow. Dang. Terrible. At least Joel's awake. All right, guys.